right, we're going to recap NFL Week 5. Let's get started. 49ers and the Rams. It looks like Mac Jones is playing much better than Brock Purdy. You could have a quarterback controversy just because Kyle Shanahan literally can put any quarterback in the offensive system and they can flourish. It's pretty crazy to see, but I mean, they did give Brock Purdy $250 million. So I'm pretty sure when he's healthy, he'll be QB number one. But if Mac Jones and the 49ers keep winning like this, it will be tough. Vikings and Browns, it's time to put Shador Sanders in. I've seen enough. I mean, even though Joe Flacco didn't play, Dylan Gabriel played, but he's not really a game changer that they need. I mean, they lost to the Vikings without their starting quarterback as well. So I think it's time to put Shador Sanders in. But congrats to the Vikings for getting the win. Cowboys and the Jets. I'm very happy of what I saw from Dak Prescott. Didn't have to throw for over 300 yards, but he still threw 4 touchdowns. Destroyed the Jets, even though Justin Fields didn't have that bad of a game. They just couldn't get points up on the board until it was too late. Cowboys 2-1 doesn't sound right, no, but it's going to help them in the standings in the long run. Saints and the Giants. Saints win 26-14. The defense finally got some turnovers. Spencer Rattler, I know they're 1-4, but he's been playing very well this season. He's not a bad quarterback. It's just everything else hasn't came together yet, but they finally came together. And also Jackson Dart looked like a rookie. His hands are a little bit too small, for my opinion, because he fumbled the ball once just because it just slipped out of his hand. His hands are not that big. So both teams are 1-4, but you can see the Saints are progressing. That's what we can say right now. Raiders and the Colts. Daniel Jones is looking unstoppable right now in this Colts offense. They went 40-6. Let's see here. Geno Smith, 2 interceptions. He's going to be Geno. Can't stop turning the ball over. Daniel Jones, 212 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor, what a comeback this year. 3 rushing touchdowns. Only has 66 yards, but, didn't really need to do too much. I mean, the game was pretty much over by the first half. So by the end of the first half, you kind of knew who was going to win that game. Now you got Panthers and the Dolphins. Even with you see without Tyreek Hill, that offense is going to be struggling. Losing to the Panthers 27-24. Both of these teams are okay. Both of these teams are pretty but the Dolphins, I think you can say Mike McDaniels, this is probably going to be his last year. But Tua did have himself a pretty decent game. Jalen Waddle had a pretty decent game, but it's just, it's a little bit different with Tyreek not out there. But their season's over, I do believe, though. They're not going to the playoffs. Now you got, let's see here, Broncos and Eagles. Jalen Hurts missed A.J. Brown a wide open touchdown that probably could have won them the game. Got the Eagles, Broncos got the Eagles their first loss in Philly. So that was very impressive. Jalen Hurts, I think, heard the criticisms of how he's not getting his receivers involved. What did he do? He got some of his receivers involved. He got Devontae Smith 114 yards. And even though A.J. Brown didn't have like a 100-yard game, at least he had 5 catches. But one of those Aaron throws, you could say that's just miscommunication, but clearly a very bad missed opportunity. They still have some kinks to work out in that offense. Ravens gets destroyed by the Texans. C.J. Stroud looks like rookie C.J. Stroud again against the Ravens, but the Ravens are beat up, they're hurt, and Lamar Jackson didn't play. So what else can you say? Titans get their first win of the year against Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. What a crazy way with this game. This game ended. Cardinals pretty much had it in the bag, and then Cam Ward throws a interception that gets fumbled and then becomes a touchdown. That was able to get them back into the game, and then they get a field goal at the end. And hey, a win's a win. They finally got their first win of the season. Cam Ward probably still thinks they suck, but still, when you get a win, you at least have some hope that the season's not going to be too terrible. Buccaneers and Seahawks, probably the game of the week for me. Uh, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold going back and forth. Oh, when quarterbacks are playing so well, it's just so fun to watch. But Sam Darnold did have one turnover, had one interception, and Baker Mayfield was turnover free. And I think that was the key difference in the game because they only lost by 3. They lost by a field goal. They got walked down, and that's how they lost the game. But great showing by both teams on offense. I loved what I saw in that game. Lions and the Bengals, as you can see, Jake Browning was also running for his life. That offensive line is trash. I wouldn't put Joe Burrow back in with that. But, the Bengals did score 24 points all in the fourth quarter. Like, they only scored the game was so far out of reach. It's kind of like, okay, Jamar Chase is down there somewhere, but the game was it was over by then. Joe Burrow's not going to come back. He's not going to come back in time to save this team. It's over for the Bengals. But the Detroit Lions keep going, keep moving. Jared Goff, keep moving. Dan Campbell, keep moving. I think there are the cream of the crop in the NFC still. I think they're probably going to be the team to beat and not the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Detroit Lions, they're going to be the one. They're going to be number 1 seed, I believe, right now. From what I've seen, it's only 5 weeks, but still. The Commanders and Chargers, Justin Herbert, I mean, the mistake that he threw, like, on the goal line, it really wasn't his fault. The ball got tipped. If not, that would have been a different game. We all know it. But, again, the defensive line for the Commanders stepped up when he needed to. Jaden Daniels made the plays when he needed to, ran the ball effectively. I do think he should stop taking some of these hits and start sliding a little bit more. But Krowski Merritt had a great game, 14 carries, averaged 8 yards per carry and 2 touchdowns. And Deebo Samuel had a great game as well. So the Commanders and the Chargers, both 3-2. We'll see what happens in week 6 and the rest of the year. But some of these wins, some of these games that the Chargers have to have, even when they're injured, costly mistakes is what's doing them in. And then you had Sunday night, the Stephon Diggs revenge game, beats the Buffalo Bills, ends their undefeated streak. He had 10 catches, 146 yards. You could tell he wanted this game. And Drake May had his best showing to me this year so far. He's getting better. The Patriots are looking better. They're in the mix right now. I believe, Drake May and Stephon Diggs' chemistry is going to get better. Rashawn Stevenson had a really good game, had a bounce back game after he half after he fumbled. If he would have fumbled and Belichick was the coach, he probably would have never saw the field the rest of the game. But when we say really had a really good game, just because he had 2 touchdowns, he only had 14 yards, 14 yards with 7 carries. They really couldn't run the ball this game, but you love to see what happened. The AFC East, does have a little bit of some competition for the Bills. It's not going to be a cakewalk right now. And then we'll just have to wait and see what happens Sunday night. I got the Chiefs. Well, yeah, I got the Chiefs, even though Jaguars are probably going to give them a tough fight. But that wraps it up for week 5. Hope to see you again on week 6.